Melissa, I put you on tasks which were actually in line with what you do for a day job. And yet you are not performing in the way that you claim that you can. Stuart, you're young, I know. This is not a kindergarten. You still find it hard to control your mouth sometimes in front of other people, which is something that I cannot accept at all.
I'm sorry.
And Jamie, on this particular task, I think, like it or not, you weren't controlling the others. I'm going to tell you this, Jamie, and I want you to remember this for the future. When you lead a team in future life, right, you need to make sure that you've got everybody covered. But, Melissa, despite everything that you say, what you can do, what you can't do, you are a bit of a loose cannon that I don't think I can control. You're fired. Pretty much the worst team that I've ever had out on this task, to be honest with you. You only got 7 items out of 9. 6 of the 7 items that you did get, you paid more than the other team. Mm-hmm. 75%, offer 75%. What was you thinking?
So that's a tactic that I've used previously, Lord
Where
Sugar.
in this world have you ever got 75% off of anything?
Never.
No, I know.
I've never got 75%, I'll be honest with you, but it's a starting point for me to work towards. So if I end up with 30%, then fantastic, but I'll start with 75%.
Amateur. Jack, who are you going to bring back into this boardroom?
So I'm going to bring back Amina for her lack of leadership. I'm going to bring back Maura for her negotiation skills when it came to the surfboard.
I don't think that's fair at all, Jack.
I've decided who I'm bringing back.
Okay.
In terms of, you were very, very confident.
It's a wrong decision.
Okay, that's how you want it. That's how it will be.
I got to tell you, Alan, they all made mistakes. They're all culpable, and they all should be back in here.
You know what?
Yes, Lord Sugar.
Yeah, stop those other candidates going back to the house because I want everybody back in this boardroom, okay? You know what? I'm not happy. So that's why you're back here, yeah? So really what we're going to talk about now is who's responsible for the failure of this task?
So, Lord Sugar, I feel like every task I've gone into, I've given it 110%. Obviously, I've lost 4 tasks now.
4 tasks, 4 defeats.
Yeah.
You're not jack of all trades, are you?
Not at all, no. I'm embarrassed by that. Like, I obviously don't want to be losing. I'm a born winner.
It's false.
Lord Sugar, can I just say, I know I've given a lot to this task. I'm embarrassed of how the task has turned out.
So why do you think he brought you in? Because of the argument over the surfboard?
I think so, because I called him out on the surfboard interfering, and I know the truth behind that.
More, I jumped in on the negotiation because I didn't have trust
Jack,
in it, okay? I
yeah,
didn't jump in on anyone else's negotiation.
You're underestimating me. And I don't...
I had to bring someone into the boardroom, okay? And you were my decision.
Inside you know that I'm not the weakest person here to bring in. I know that.
I'm not saying you're the weakest person here to bring in, okay? I think Amina is the weakest person here to bring in, hence the reason why I brought her in.
I'm not the second weakest.
You're saying it was Amina's fault. You guys got 2 fines, I got 2 fines as well. We're one team. Don't make us 2 teams here.
Who should be fired then?
I think Jack should be fired, Lord Sugar, because Jack's strategy was really poor. He went to us to go in at 75%, which is unreal.
Yeah.
Lord Sugar, based on what lost us the task for that side, I think Jack should be fired.
Why for this side, though? You do have your side as well.
No, I'm not saying... I agree that everyone had their part to play, but I think in terms of going ahead to buy the shackles at the wrong size and then we got fined on top of that, I think that did kind of play...
But who cost us the task, okay? You can look at your side as well.
I think strategy on our side was not good. Strategy on your side wasn't great, so
It was great.
Well...
We had a clear plan.
Yeah, OK, I don't want to talk about any specifics anymore. The way I see it is that Amina, backwards and forwards, back halfway round and go back to and all that stuff. And I'm disappointed, Amina. Very, very disappointed. I don't want to hear any more from anybody now. Jack, you were ultimately responsible for the strategy, and the strategy failed. But Amina, you was in charge of the sub-team, lack of strategy, and that cost the whole team big. And so it is with regret, Amina, you're fired.
Thank you, Richard.
And Jack, I'm sorry to say, you're also fired.
Whilst you don't like what you're doing at the moment, get to like it and do more of it. Because with regret, I have to say that I can't see where you can slot in the organisation. But you leave here with your head high.
Thank you.
Let me tell you that. You leave here with your head high because you're a prime example of someone who's prepared to work hard and sling yourself into things. You've done very, very well.
Thank you.
Joanna, I'm sorry to say you're fired.
Thank you.
The cruelty of this process is, in the end, that when I have 4 people in front of me, I have to make serious decisions like that. Stella, you're in the final.
Oh, thank you so much.
Jamie, I think you've come to the end of the road. I'm letting you go. Jamie, you're fired. Liz, sometimes people that do well in the early stages get a little bit complacent, thinking that they can see the finishing line. And it's a dangerous thing, because I can assure you that on this particular task, not recognising the most important thing of price and what the price should be was a fatal mistake. And Laura, one mustn't forget, of course, that you are, as you say, 22 years old. And perhaps therein lies the issue, really.
But to me, that's what's so
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, I know it's fantastic, but
Okay.
Stella, I don't know whether you are made for my organisation. There's allegations of you being a bit wooden, a bit corporate. I don't know whether I need corporate style people. And for that reason, I'm going to move on to you, Laura, where, on balance, I think we're at the end of the road here for you.
I just think I've got so much more to offer. Put me as project manager. I'll show you. I haven't had the chance. I've put myself forward for the last 3 weeks, and I just haven't had the chance.
Yeah, I think you've had a lot of chance, actually. You know, the minute that you said 200, that was it. You were dead in the water. And that is my decision. You're fired.
Well, thank you for everything. It's been great.
Well, it's a very difficult decision for me to have to make so early in the process, because actually I'm not that delighted with all 3 of you. Laura, the task failed miserably, and you will go down in this boardroom as the person that came back with 0 sales on a task like this that has never ever happened before. Joy, there are people that come into this process that think that they can just step back, don't say anything and don't do anything, don't put their head on the chopping block, that they're going to escape. They don't escape. They do not escape. In fact, the more they try it on, the more they actually shine like a beacon. And Joanna, here's maybe the biggest issue that I've got. Without a question of a doubt, you wind people up, you cause aggravation, whether you like it or not, right? And I cannot have that going forward.
I will change.
I cannot have it going forward. This description of passion, it doesn't rub off on me, quite honestly. I think, Laura, this is a pathetic result. But looking at some of these people here today, I get the feeling that it was difficult to handle them. Even in front of me, it's hard for some of them to keep quiet. So, a tough decision. Joy, I haven't seen anything from you, to be honest. Neither have my two colleagues. Joy, you're fired. Paloma, you are very cool, and I think you've shown me in this boardroom that you don't take no prisoners. And I think it's the manner in which you don't take no prisoners that maybe is concerning me.
Sugar, can I say one last thing?
Yes, if you wish to.
I can just say to you that, you know, I've got a very good track record in generating large profits for big organisations. And I want to do the same for you, and I can do the same for you. Contrast that to my candidates here who don't have an exceptionally good record in drumming up a lot of business, negotiating,
How do you know
selling.
that? How can you say
don't know
that?
what
You don't know
we've done
anything
in
about me.
business. You know absolutely
rude.
nothing about what we've done in business.
You don't even know my business background.
You've told me
you can't just guess
you don't
things
have
like
negotiating
that.
skills, Alex. It's just what it comes down to.
You're just a
You're
negative person.
No,
you're just here to
you're
down
a
talk.
presenter.
You
You're
cannot.
like to present. You
I'm
are
not.
an actor.
I'm not a presenter.
You are
That is not what I'm about.
Look, so seriously, this is the first time I've worked with you. You were irritating. You're more of a hindrance than you were a help. I'm being honest. I'm shooting from the hip here.
You mean you're protecting your position?
No, I'm not.
Alex, you sound like a disaster. But I think you've been set up, personally, as the lackey. You may be bloody useless, I don't know. But I'm going to give you another chance to prove that you're not bloody useless. OK?
Thank you, Lord Sugar.
Paloma, I don't like your last outbursts, and for my 40 years in business and my gut feeling, I don't like what I've seen across the table here today. You've talked yourself out of this. If you'd have shut up a while back, it may be someone else going. Paloma, you're fired. The first thing I'd like to say is this. I don't agree with the reason, Sandish, why you're in this boardroom. So you go back to the house now.
Thank you, Lord Sugar.
Alex, I'm still lost as to why on this, a task which you are supposed to be expert in, went so miserably wrong. And miserably wrong it did. I'm mindful of your abilities, and I'm also mindful of some of the things that you've done in the last 6 weeks. Chris, I think that this task is really not the one for you to have taken the helm on, and take the helm you did. And that is a flaw, really. It's an example of someone getting a little bit too cocky. It's really unforgivable. But I think that the positive things that you have done in the previous weeks outweigh that. And so it is with regret that, having given you the chance and opportunity, Alex, that I'm going to have to say to you, you're fired.
Nice to meet you, Lord Sugar. Likewise, Nick and Karen. Thank you very much indeed.
Why don't you, one last time, Joseph, tell me why you think you should be my business partner?
So, Lord Sugar, I once read a book that changed my life. The title of that book was What You See Is What You Get. I'm now sat in front of the author of that book, and what I'm saying to you is what you see is what you get. I've got 10 years experience in this industry. I'm driven, passionate. hard working. Through these last 12 weeks, I've jumped through hoops to try and prove to you time and time again that I can adapt and change. I do need investment, I do need mentoring, but with that combination, I will make £1 million within 5 years. There's no doubt about that. And I hope you can see me as a person, and I hope you buy into me.
Technology has been my best friend for over 50 years, but maybe it's time to make new friends. Joseph, you are going to be my business partner.